The Public Understanding of Sociology Award is given annually to a person or persons who have made exemplary contributions to advance the public understanding of sociology, sociological research, and scholarship among the general public. Please welcome Laura Beth Nielsen as she presents this year's recipients.
On behalf of the committee, it's my pleasure to tell you that Professor Valerie Jenness is a co-winner of the Public Understanding of Sociology Award this year. The award is given in recognition of her scholarly work documenting the social movement behind hate crimes laws and her growing expertise and participation in the messy real world of policymaking. In the aftermath of James Byrd Jr. and Matthew Shepard's slayings, Professor Jenness gave interviews to leading newspapers and radio stations, helping the public make sense of these heinous crimes, and providing them with the context to understand hate crime laws and their efficacy. In addition, Professor Jenness works extensively with police departments, developing policies and practices for the implementation of hate crime enforcement, as well as with our frontline responders to hate crimes, policemen themselves. Professor Jenness is Professor of Criminology at Law and Society and Professor of Sociology at UC Irvine, and today's Public Understanding of Sociology winner.
Thank you, Laura Beth, and thank you to the entire committee and the American Sociological Association. I am deeply honored. I'm deeply honored to receive this recognition on behalf of myself and many people with whom I've worked, and many people implicated in the work we've collectively achieved. I'm also particularly honored to receive this in light of the previous recipients. I'm pleased to receive it in light of Jack Levin receiving it last year, my fellow researcher and comrade in what some call the hate crime industry, Jack. And I'm pleased to receive it in light of Frances Fox Piven being a previous recipient, one of my academic heroes, and I think I saw her buzzing around somewhere. Frances, there's a light in my face, but I really am honored to be in the list of previous recipients, and I'm pleased to receive it along with Doris Wilkinson, whom you'll hear more about in a few minutes. I thought about what to say, and I tried to develop some comments, and then it happened again. Something happened on the way to the meetings that I'm sure has happened to many of you, if not something similar. Namely, I was in a cab, and I was doing my 7-mile route from my home to the Orange County Airport, and as is often the case, making chit-chat with the cab driver. This is always dangerous. And he asked me where I was going and what I was doing, and I said, I'm going to some meetings, and he said, which ones? And I said, the American Sociological Association meetings, annual meetings. We had about 5 minutes left in the cab, and he asked, what was sociology? Cognizant of time and cognizant I've been through this terrain before, I tried as best I could, and I found we were talking about communists. We were talking about social workers. We were talking about activists, and we were talking about psychologists, and now I have about 1.5 minutes left before we get to the Orange County Airport. Perhaps over drinks I can tell you how I did that in a minute and a half. Now my own route to getting to this moment with the cab driver, not unlike many other moments with cab drivers, is really quite complicated and much too long to do in the 2 minutes they've allocated. But I wanted to say the route to enhancing the public's understanding of sociology, for me, has been quite complex, quite meandering, sometimes quite disillusioning, but always rewarding and always exciting. That's what makes receiving this particular award quite affirming for me. In the current moment, many of my most treasured professional moments in my life come as a researcher and educator trying to communicate to various constituencies and various communities the value of what we do, all of us, the value of a sociological perspective, the value of documenting and describing and explaining basic social structures and social processes and all of the complexities that surround them, and the value of somehow connecting that to important issues of the past, issues of the day, and certainly issues of the future. For me, these are valuable professional moments done certainly in the classroom and far beyond the classroom. What I want to do is to suggest that explaining and convincing people of the value of what we do and the value of a sociological perspective is a very important task, and it's an easy task for me because I'm a true believer and it's easy to explain things you believe in. But for me, a sociological perspective is not about being a true believer. It's about a lot of backdrop and a lot of help. So what I want to do is conclude my comments with some well-placed thank yous. I want to begin by always thanking my mother. I was told this is being recorded, and now that I know she might watch it, I better thank her. She doesn't understand what I do and how I do it and why I do it, so maybe this isn't an appropriate award. I've been trying. But she's always supported my efforts and trusted my judgments, and that's meant a world to me. Moving beyond my mother, I want to thank a number of institutions. I don't have time to thank the number of people, but a number of institutions, beginning with the University of California, Santa Barbara Sociology program. As I move through my career, I become increasingly aware of the value of the training you get back when you're learning the craft and the science and the trade. So I want to give a shout out to the University of California, Santa Barbara Sociology Department. Fast forward, I also want to thank the University of California, Irvine, my current home. Despite all the troubles that the University of California faces right now, and there are many and they are deep, it's a hospitable, wonderful place to do what we do. Finally, I want to thank two final groups of people, the many publics with whom I've been privileged to engage, from politicians to legislators to prisoners to cab drivers to everything in between. It is a joy to talk about sociology with these diverse groups of people. And I want to thank you, my sociological colleagues, friends, and collaborators that produce the information and the understandings that it is my honest pleasure to get to talk about in public. Thank you very much.